Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene. I am with A Room to Bloom, and we're going to start out with a reading today from a deck called Better Than Yesterday. So again, getting a little reverb. I'm going to turn this down a bit. So let's see what comes up for ideas just to help you feel better. Being mindful of the fact that we are energetic beings, and of course some days we feel better than other days, right? But remembering that emotions are simply energy in motion. I had two fall out here, so let's see what they are. Bake something from scratch today. Oh, it's actually 3 cards. It says seriously dough. And I think it's supposed to be a take on seriously though. Bake something from scratch today, right? So that'll help you feel better. Wow, this is actually really interesting. I pulled these out yesterday and this came out. Logging off. Don't use social media for up to 24 hours, right? Giving it a break. It invites us to compare ourselves to others. Take a break and just appreciate life offline, right? So it can cause some stress. The next one is endorphins make you happy. So try a new workout, go to a new workout class, or do an exercise that you have never done before. So surprise yourself by realizing how quickly you can adapt to new challenges, right? Which is really interesting because I have a deck here. Yesterday I pulled a card and the card was exercise, and I almost used it in this reading here today for the 3 cards that I pulled on it. So it's like added confirmation. Bake something from scratch today. Okay, I shuffled this again. It says get the party started. Drink tea today. Tea improves memory. Plus, you don't get that caffeine crash later. Trying some new yogi tea or any whatever brand works for you. But this yogi tea is kind of fun. It's organic and it has messages on, on each packet. And there's probably other teas that do too, but I'm not sure what they are. Let's see what else comes up. I just put that in there and shuffled it, I realized. Hydrated and happy. Okay. Drink 6 to 8 glasses of water today. Staying hydrated gives you more energy, and think of the amazing things you can do with that energy. So it gives you more energy, but it also helps to detoxify the body. And then the other thing is that it helps us to connect on a spiritual level, right? Because we have that. We are hydrated. Okay, what else do we have? Go to a workout class with a friend. Okay, so we have a third message. Friends, yeah, just whatever. Go to a workout class with a friend. And pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is easier with a friend. The next one is smile. You are on film. Buy a disposable camera and take 10 pictures with it this week. There's something rewarding about taking pictures, being patient and waiting for them to develop, right? There is something about that, right? Just think about the days that's the way that it was instead of the instant thing. If you're really tuned into being cognizant of how many people are walking around with their phones in hand while they're out, it's very interesting, just being aware of that. Okay, we're going to step into another deck by Matt Kahn called the Healing Mantra deck. Let's see what comes up that would be helpful for you today. All right, what messages do you have for the collective today? Cultivating courage. And the color is blue and tan, so it really says to me this is something to speak about something, okay? In any given moment, I always know exactly This says what to do, but blue represents the throat chakra. So I am also feeling about not only what to do, but what to say, right? Where are you being called to have some courage in a situation? Okay, the next one is soothing impatience. How interesting, where we have don't use social media at all. And that soothing impatience would also go hand in hand with this buying a disposable camera and then having to wait for the pictures to develop, right? Now I realize, today you can take pictures and have them depending upon how busy the places are not, but it's not instant, right? So another way to soothe impatience is to step away from social media for a while. A lot of people are stepping away from some of that shorter content. But many people are leaning into it and then wonder why their attention span is short. And that's because we're presented with so many things and we're like this. But if we choose something and we stick with it, then our attention, we hold our attention longer, right? Okay, the next one is discovering happiness. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. So this falls under the try a new workout or go to a workout class, even if you've never done one before. So, discovering happiness in whatever works for you, right? And maybe some days it's not going to work for you to even go. And so it's just being accepting of yourself where you're at. The next one is illuminating the truth. Under the drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, I am willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome, right? So illuminating the truth, whatever that is. Okay, going to a workout class with a friend, expressing free will. That's really interesting. Today I went somewhere and there was a shampoo that had this same name to it, free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine, right? And so kind of interesting, choices with what we say, do, possibly even don't say and or do, right? Because we do have free will. Okay, what else do we have here? Deconstructing doubt. Okay, only my beliefs are in my way, right? So is there something that's holding you back from doing what it is that you would like to achieve, to having an experience that you would like to have? So only your beliefs are in the way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and step into another deck here called the Oracle of the Seven Energies. Let's see what comes up here. Now, I haven't used this deck that much. I might use the book. We'll see here. Okay, so rainbows have been coming up a lot for me. I had this set aside. I didn't remember that it had rainbows in it. In fact, that unicorn deck that I was telling you about, that I had this other card about exercise, it had 2 rainbows in the 3 cards that I pulled. Okay, what else? Okay, what do we have? We have into me I see. So going within, right? Which is interesting because it falls with illuminating the truth. Into me I see. Okay, what else do we have? Great big love, expressing free will and soothing impatience. Falls under the don't use social media for 24 hours as well. And then we have a tall tale. So under the discovering happiness, deconstructing doubt, a tall tale, we have a Pinocchio sitting on a tall hat, if you will. So let's go ahead and tap into these with the book. Into me I see. The key concept is intimacy, trust in another, dropping shields and rigid boundaries to allow connection, the willingness to be vulnerable, right? The willingness to be vulnerable, which is interesting because it also falls under this cultivating courage, right? At certain precious moments, you are called into a deep and meaningful connection with the world or another person. A magical affinity arises with the kind of intimacy that in turn encourages a greater understanding of yourself. The relationship acts as a mirror, helping you with your own patterns. What what it reflects about you can further your own personal evolution. Now is the time to take a risk by connecting with another. You can see how far you've come. Can you see what is still active within you that needs to change or heal? You will discover more about who you are as you discover more about another. Even if you cannot possibly know what it's truly like to be in someone else's shoes, you can listen and learn. This is a magical gift being offered to you right now. The concept applies beyond romantic connections. What do the dynamics in your closest friendships, work relationships, and family say about you? Relationships are extraordinary opportunities for healing. When predicted on honesty and caring, they have a great impact on how you contribute to the world. I said when predicted, that's I had to double check that. It's when predicated on honesty and caring. Anyway, intimate relationships hold up a mirror of truth and they reveal more pleasures than you might ever expect. If you can look into it, take a risk, and see everything as beautiful, even if it's in its imperfections, imagine how deep you could go. I'm not sure if you can hear the sirens. Okay, we're going to go to Great Big Love, which is kind of interesting with um, that other one about intimacy, right? Love without conditions, romantic love, and how the experience changes you, deep and profound, harmonious connections, soulmates. Love heals all wounds, begins all life. It sustains you when you are starving for grace, when you stumble and fall, and when you lose sight of your purpose and fall prey to the limited perspective of the ego. Now is the time to fall in love and to call in the awareness of the great big love that made you, which is ever pulsing throughout your veins. There's a heightened sense of awareness in the beginning stages of a relationship when nothing else matters but who is in front of you. You see them, you see yourself in them, and you move in sync with the cadence of your hearts. You surrender to the magic you share and you engage in a harmonious dance that is seamless in its movements, rising and falling with each moment, each breath. Although this card may portend such an intimate connection, you don't have to wait for a partner to experience it. You're being invited now to explore love in all of its beauty. You can love without conditions, without needing things to be perfect. Do you love your life, what you do, and how you contribute to the world? Today, invite love with a capital L into your inquiry. You will be amazed, and your very question may change as a result. Love is the strength you need today, the lens you must look through to find the truth and your way. Love is the way, and the only answer. Still have a lot of sirens going. Okay, the next one with the tall tale, it says, the key concept here is denial, concealing the truth so you can manipulate and control a situation. Fear-based communication, creating a narrative to hide behind, not allowing fear or what others will think to influence your words. Learning to communicate from a place of authenticity. You or someone else is telling a tall tale right now. You always know if a falsehood is spoken because it doesn't feel grounded. When you lie, you get high on an illusionary sense of power that is doomed to fail at some point. You feel driven by the fear of exposure, but something makes you stick to your story even though you know that it has no substance. Whatever lie we are caught up in isn't as important as the motive for it. Why does anyone lie? Perhaps we don't believe the truth is good enough, or we want to keep doing what we know we shouldn't be doing. Then there is the lie put forth while in denial, such as hiding an active addiction. In this scenario, we may believe our own lies, the tall tale, the white lie, the stretching of the truth, and the blatant fabrication are all about control, the desire for it, the lack of it, the need to maintain it so we can manipulate the outer world and hide our inner one. Today, ask for the truth. Be willing to pay the price and be okay with the vulnerability your life is exposing in yourself and others. Transparency is required to get to where you need to go. To be truly empowered to reveal the strength of what is true and authentic. Any other path leads to a dead end. Remember the saying, the truth will set you free, and get ready to fly unfettered. So what's coming to me about this is I just did a podcast oracle reading. Actually, I probably did it maybe about 10 days ago, but I haven't released it yet. And it's one of the ones I'm going to be releasing over the next couple days, and it speaks about addiction. So if you've been struggling with that, you're being encouraged to just get honest with yourself and others, right? And it's okay to ask for help. Yeah, it's okay to ask for help, which would lead me perfectly into this next deck here called Grace Cards by Cheryl Richardson. What message do we have here regarding grace? What would you like to bring forth? Actually, we have one more. The one that's stuck in the box says connect. Find your center. When we stay connected to our spiritual core, the best and most advantaged path unfolds before us. Find your center, connect. It's purple, trusting your intuition, right? Okay, we're going to go ahead and see what else comes up here. We have a gift. I also just released a video called, I think it's called Gifting Yourself. Anyway, grace is a gift from God. We don't need to work hard to earn it, feel worthy enough to deserve it, or surrender our needs to receive it. The gift of grace is our birthright. So very beautiful. Give yourself grace. You know, that could come, be in regards to when it comes to love, expressing your free will, not being on social media, soothing impatience. Give yourself grace if you have been impatient. The next one is receive, okay? And this falls under discovering happiness, trying a new workout, deconstructing doubt, and a tall tale. When we open ourselves up to others, we open ourselves up to the abundance of the universe. So like a second message here of just being your most authentic self, right? And not covering it up with layers of, I guess, what would be inauthenticity, right? And not sharing from your heart center, right? Instead of working from a space of the ego, so that you don't have, if you're working from the ego, it's because you don't want others to see your true self, right? So anyway, that's the message today. I want to say thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Take care.